Hi, everybody. It's Dana here. I am so happy to be with you today, live. Hi, Lauren. I'm so glad you're here joining me. And today I want to talk to you about exercise during menopause. Like, what is the deal? What's good exercise? What exercise mistakes are women commonly making during menopause? Because, it's like you're going along and you got it figured out, and then you reach a certain age and everything changes. And it's like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now? How am I supposed to keep up with all these changes and get the most out of what I'm doing? So that's what I want to talk to you about today. My name is Dana LaVoie. I am an acupuncturist and herbalist specializing in helping women through menopause using natural remedies like diet, lifestyle, and supplements. And I provide monthly herbal boxes of Chinese herbs specifically for menopause to help women all over the country just have a great time. I also have some online courses about what to eat and not to eat, all kinds of stuff. But today, I want to share with you exercise. And if you have questions about exercise, questions about menopause, type them in the comments and I should be able to see them show up and answer them for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and if you can hear me, if the sound is good and the picture looks good, just like pop in the comments and let me know. And also let me know where you're joining me from. I would love to know like what part of the country or what part of the world you're in right now. I am in Eugene, Oregon, and it is kind of going to get hot here today. We're getting into the 90s today. We might be hitting 100 tomorrow, so it's summer, and I'm actually really happy about that. So I hope it's nice wherever you're hanging out today, too. Please go ahead and hit the like button so I know you're out there having a good time with me, and hit the share button. Let your friends know about this video, too. Okay, so I want to jump in talking about exercise for menopause, and I want to start with exercise mistakes. What are the most common exercise mistakes that women make around menopause or after menopause, or when their hormones start to change at the beginning of perimenopause? Okay, so I would say that the most common mistake women make looks something like this. It's like, all right, I'm starting to gain weight. I'm having more trouble losing weight. I'm going to exercise more. I am going to go jogging, swimming, and I'm going to do it for longer stretches, and I'm going to do it more days a week. That's really, really common. And the truth is that doing long periods of high intensity cardio too many days in a row actually increases inflammation in the body. It can increase cortisol levels, and it can make it harder to lose weight. So you are working harder and harder and spending more and more time on exercise and not necessarily getting the results that you want. So why is that a mistake? Because it makes so much sense that that would work. Burn more calories, learn more, lose more weight. Like, where is the problem with that equation? And if you're curious what I'm talking about here, it would be something like jogging, cycling, swimming, high intensity cardio that you're doing for long stretches of time. So you're like, okay, instead of going for 20 minutes, I'm going to go for 40 minutes or, an hour or something like that. So that is one of the mistakes, and we're going to talk in a minute about what actually seems to work better for women at this age to get better results from the time they're putting into exercise. So again, that mistake would be like all high intensity cardio not mixed up with enough other kind of stuff, which we're going to talk about. So too much cardio, not enough other things. Number two mistake would be not taking time to warm up. Okay, so as you get older, this does become more important. If you used to spend no time warming up, or 2 minutes warming up, or 5 minutes warming up, now we're looking at more like 10 minutes. Ease into things slowly, get things limber, get things loose, get everything circulating, loosen up your joints, warm up your muscles before you really hit it. And make that more of a priority. Make sure you do that every time. You're going to help avoid injury that way, and a lot of other good things. So Take enough time to warm up. That's exercise mistake number 2, is not warming up enough. And then another common exercise mistake, and this is something not just for women in menopause that's kind of changing across the board, is crunches and sit-ups. Yeah, you want your, belly to look great. You want it to be flat. You want it to have some ridges, But doing too many crunches and sit-ups can be dangerous for your low back and your neck, and it can create the kind of stomach muscles that aren't necessarily flat. And so something to think about, kind of a new trend, would be bracing exercises instead. So you can go on like Pinterest or something for plank pose, or like a plank pose workout, or just spending 30 seconds in plank pose, even just on your elbows, is a fantastic exercise for your stomach and your core, and it doesn't have any of the strain that the crunches and the sit-ups have associated with it. So in terms of exercise mistakes, so far we've got too much cardio, we've got not warming up, we've got too much in the way of crunches and sit-ups, which can create strain possibly in the low back or neck. And we've got the other thing you might want to think about phasing out of your routine would be a lot of overhead shoulder presses and full range of motion leg extensions. So this is more if you're doing exercises with weights. You can get all your muscles going without doing the full-on overhead shoulder presses, which just can create stress and can lead to shoulder injuries or problems, which is so common. So you can get your muscles in your arms without doing the full-on overhead shoulder presses. So just making your weight routine a little bit smarter and more age appropriate, you can still get all the results that you want and just avoid so many of the most common injuries. So if you're watching right now, please go ahead and say hi. Let me know where you're joining me from. Let me know everything sounds okay. And if you have any questions, bring them on, because we can take a detour and answer questions. I'd be happy to do that. Questions on any topic. Put them in the comments. Okay. So moving on to, that was exercise mistakes. Now I want to talk about what I think are some of the best exercises to do. So this first one might be a little bit of a surprise to you. I had a good friend who was a Pilates instructor and a lot more, and she said when you are at that age, she said, if you put energy and effort and attention and mindfulness all your waking hours into good posture and good breathing, and really engaging your correct postural muscles and deep full breathing muscles, that's enough of a workout for anyone who wants to do, just like playing with the grandkids, bike riding to the store down the street, getting the mail, just regular activities. Not if you want to be a high performance, athlete, but for the average woman, that really putting attention into good posture and good breathing is actually a great workout. And it is really true. The thing is that the muscles that you use for good posture are humongous. So we're talking all your core muscles, your abdominal muscles, your back muscles, your breathing muscles, your diaphragm muscles, your stomach muscle, right? Your stomach muscle is like, it's like gigantic. It's like, it's like two feet long and, like a foot wide. I mean, it's really big. And when you compare that to something like your bicep, which is like, a couple of inches on each side, well, when you're exercising your bigger muscles, you are building more muscle and using more calories. It's like you're getting more muscular work because you're using a bigger muscle. Plus, those big muscles, you can strengthen them more quickly. They strengthen more quickly when you use them. So there's a lot of payoff to this. Plus, by having good posture and good alignment, you're also going to be preventing a lot of injuries. So this is kind of a radical concept, and I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think about your posture very often during the day? Is this something that's like top of mind for you? Have you ever thought of it as part of your exercise routine? And so this is what I think is one of the best exercise things to do, is really be mindful of good posture and good breathing throughout the day. So there's a radical idea for you. And then to take it to the next level, think about increasing the normal activities, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, parking farther away, riding your bicycle instead of walking somewhere, or walking somewhere instead of driving somewhere. So, just not just sitting couch potato all day long, having more just normal activity in your everyday life with your good posture. That is a really, really nice way to stay in shape. And then when you're ready to take it to the next level and have an exercise routine, I think that you can have an amazing exercise routine in a really convenient, not too long amount of time. One thing that you're going to get a lot of payoff from is doing high intensity cardio in short bursts. So this kind of burst training, high intensity interval training, again, it's kind of a new thing, and everybody seems to agree that the payoff is huge. So it's about doing a high intensity of cardio, like cycling really hard on your stationary bicycle, or something that you're really working hard with the cardio, but for maybe 30 seconds, or maybe it's even less than that when you start, and then you rest. So maybe you work hard for 30 seconds, you rest for 90 seconds, you work hard for 30 seconds, you rest for 90 seconds. You do the whole thing, start with 5 minutes, maybe work up to 10 minutes. Do it maybe twice a week. That's it. That's like 20 minutes a week, and you're getting some serious hit of cardio benefits there. So it's something to think about learning, about trying, about, learning from a trainer. And it's not the most fun thing, but it does have a lot of payoff. So that's one way to take your exercise to the next level. But see, we're not talking about, 90 minutes of cardio 5 days a week. We're talking about a very targeted, short amount of time spent on cardio. And then another nice thing you can add to your routine on this next level would be some longer, low intensity things like hiking, gentle bike riding, and walking. If you can go for a hike out in nature 1 or 2 days a week, or a walk through a beautiful park, there's a lot of benefits to being out in nature, and so I highly recommend that. Having that in your routine at least once a week, just getting out for a walk, getting out in nature. And if you want to go for a longer stretch of something, I recommend something, like hiking or gentle bicycle riding. That's a little bit lower intensity. And then another thing to think about adding to your exercise routine is strength training. Strength training can have a lot of benefits because you're building up bigger muscles, and having bigger muscles increases your metabolism, and it can protect you in a number of ways. It's really is healthy. Plus, you can tend to lose muscle as you get older, so making a little more effort to build it up is going to keep you really healthy. But again, with strength training, we're talking, a couple of times a week, just for a little while, and just to kind of build up muscles in a targeted way. And another thing, this is the last suggestion that I have for something you might want to add to your exercise routine, is some exercises for balance. Balance, flexibility, agility. I highly recommend these. Something like Tai Chi, which has energetic benefits, meditative benefits, relaxation benefits, is fantastic for your balance. I remember, if you want to talk full on, straight out hip fractures, there's a lot of ways you can keep your bones strong and prevent hip fractures, and we'll talk about that all at once sometime. But I saw this statistic. This was years ago when I was really first starting to focus in on working with older women, menopausal women, and women post-menopausally. And it said, this can reduce hip fractures by 80%. And I was like, what? That sounds a little crazy. So I went and I looked at it, and what it was a study, a very large study that they had done on a lot of women who they taught to do Tai Chi exercises. And they taught the women to do the Tai Chi when they were already like postmenopausal. So these were not Tai Chi experts, and they were not doing advanced Tai Chi. These were women who learned a very basic Tai Chi routine. And they did it regularly, and they followed these women over like 10 years to see how many of them had hip fractures compared to the women of the same age who were not doing the Tai Chi. And they found that the women doing the Tai Chi were 80% less likely to have a hip fracture. And I thought, is that because, they say weight-bearing exercise is good for, making your bones stronger so that you don't fracture your hip? I thought, Tai Chi, I can't imagine it strengthening your bones that much. I do it. It's like so gentle. But it turns out that what happens is the women who were doing the Tai Chi regularly, even beginner Tai Chi, were 80% less likely to trip and fall, because Tai Chi is so good for your balance and preventing falls. So for that reason alone, I recommend it. But there are lots of other great reasons to do Tai Chi. It has a lot of benefits. It's a Chinese medicine thing, and if you've never tried it, I highly recommend it. And of course, you can do Pilates, you can do gyrotonics, you can do yoga. All of these things are great for balance, flexibility, agility. They're great for your core, and they're also going to be great for stress management. So having something like one of those in your routine where you're, working through ranges of motion and increasing flexibility, highly recommended. And now obviously you're not going to do like all of this all the time. I mean, the whole idea here is that I think, especially if you include good posture, you can have an amazing exercise routine in a small amount of time. And so what I would say is, now we're going to get into my best exercise habits. So how to have good habits around exercise, how to put together a good exercise routine. So one thing I recommend is rest one day a week. So I'm going to start with that because it sounds so easy and so fun. Because if you really are exercising quite a bit, when you exercise, especially a more high intensity exercise, strength training, you're actually creating inflammation. Now it's not a bad kind of inflammation, but it creates inflammation, and the body has mechanisms designed to go in and get rid of that inflammation, but it can take the whole next day to do that. And I think that it's a really good idea to have at least one day a week where you're being pretty restful, not doing anything high intensity, and letting the body really do a clean sweep to clean up the byproducts of the exercise you did over the last week. So whether it's a day that you work long hours at your desk, or it's a day when you're off and you're just relaxing and having fun, have a rest day every week. And then I recommend exercise habit number 2, shake it up. Don't do the same thing every day. Don't strengthen the one same muscle every day. Maybe one day a week you do strength training, and maybe one day a week you do high intensity cardio, and maybe a couple of days a week you go for a walk or a gentle bike ride, and maybe you have a little yoga type of routine, some exercises like that for balance in your core. That's a little 5 or 10 minute thing or 15-minute thing that you do 3 days a week. So you're really shaking it up, and it's just a little bit each day, and or a little bit twice a day. Whatever feels good to you. I think that those are great ways to go. And again, my other recommendation that might not be, that I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, but good posture. I feel like really having mindfulness and attention to good posture and good deep breathing pretty much all day, every day, whenever you can remember to think about it, is incredibly good exercise. So rest one day a week, focus on good posture. In terms of, and that's, you can just do that for basics, but if you want to add to the next level, shake it up. Don't do the same thing every day. Think about short bursts of high intensity cardio, but not too often and not for too long. Think about some lower intensity activities like walking and bike riding, and just kind of increasing the movement that's normally in your day, like parking a little farther away, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, walking somewhere instead of driving. think about doing a little bit of strength training. Doesn't have to be too often, doesn't have to be too much, but it really has a high payoff in terms of metabolism and a lot of other things. And then something for agility, balance, and flexibility, whether it's Tai Chi or yoga or Pilates or a little something like that, is really nice to have in your routine to make sure everything's getting stretched out once in a while, and that you're keeping your balance in a good place. That's because, again, we're preventing a lot of injuries, preventing falls, preventing breaks, preventing strains. And another thing that I would recommend is think about working with a trainer. Don't think, oh, I can figure this out. I know exactly what to do. I'm not going to get hurt. I'm going to do it right. Think about investing a little bit in yourself and pampering yourself a little bit by investing in working with a teacher or a trainer or taking a class. There's a lot of benefits to that, and you are totally worth it. And so for best exercise habits, we've got rest 1 day a week, focus on good posture. If you're taking it to the next level with a real exercise routine, shake it up. Don't do the same thing every day. And then the other best practices for exercise are drink plenty of water, get plenty of protein in your diet. Without enough protein in your diet, it's going to be really hard to build muscle, and get plenty of sleep. So some basic healthy habits that are going to make your exercise routine so much more enjoyable and beneficial. So, I am Dana LaVoie. I help women have an easier menopause naturally using natural remedies of diet, lifestyle, supplements, and exercise falls under lifestyle. So today we're talking about exercise. What's the healthy exercise in your best menopause lifestyle? And to sum up, we started talking about what are the most common mistakes women make when they're exercising during menopause. The first one was too much cardio. The second one was not warming up enough. And then the third one was doing types of exercises that can lead to injury, strain, like too many crunches or sit-ups or overhead shoulder presses, things like that. And then we got into the best kind of exercises to do. So that would be good posture and breathing that really engages your core muscles. Cardio in short bursts, longer low intensity exercise, especially if you can get out in nature for a walk or a gentle bicycle ride once in a while. A little bit of targeted strength training because muscle is your friend. And some type of exercise for balance, agility, and flexibility. And we talked about using bracing exercises like plank pose instead of those crunches and sit-ups, so in case I didn't mention that. So those were the best exercises to do. And then the best exercise habits were rest 1 day a week, shake it up, don't do the same thing every day, drink plenty of water, get plenty of protein in your diet, get plenty of sleep, and think about investing just a little bit in yourself and working with a trainer or at least taking a class. So those are my suggestions for how to shake up your exercise routine, modernize it, make it more smart and strategic, and make it into something that's going to give you a higher payoff for where you're at in your life right now. I would love to know where you guys are at with your exercise routines, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments below, and I'll come back around and answer them. And anyway, I'm Dana LaVoie. Please go ahead, hit the like button, hit the share button. Maybe you have some friends or sisters who are wondering if their exercise routine needs a little bit of an update since the last time they updated it. And that's all for today. I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.